see wearing the ascot.
Yes.
Is that in support of Roland Martin? Because I like it. It's nice.
Who the hell is Roland Martin?
You gotta be kidding me.
From Washington, D.C., Roland Martin. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom, Sybil, and Guy. 2-2, damn it. Lakers, I was at the George Lopez golf tournament on Monday, and it was a whole lot of Lakers fan, Tom, talking trash, talking about won-loss ratio, how many banners they have. And I'm like, you know what, when you ain't made the playoffs in 6 years, literally like since Obama's first term, it's amazing how they just talk all that trash. It's just amazing, Tom. It's amazing. It's amazing. But, Tom, please continue to root for the Golden State Warriors. You are doing wonders.
I'm rooting for the Rockets, man.
No, hell no.
Don't say continue.
We need you. You must have been rooting last night for the Sixers.
Oh, man.
Stay over there. All right, folks, let's get right into it. That is lots of drama in Washington, D.C. The thug president has essentially told all of his people, that's right. I mean, you might as well have Suge Knight as president. You might have more ethics and morals in the White House.
Oh, wow.
He has told his folks, ignore subpoenas. They mean nothing. I don't care what Congress wants. Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, I'm not giving y'all his tax returns. New York Times has a huge story basically showed Donald Trump has lost. He lost so much money, only 3 other Americans got close to him, which means that he was writing a whole bunch of stuff off he shouldn't have been. Then now, Don McGahn, former White House counsel. Now, forget that subpoena. Now you have lying Sarah Sanders, who's saying Trump may order Bob Mueller not to testify. Joining us right now, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from H-Town, a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congresswoman, glad to have you back on Tom Joyner Morning Show. This man does not care about a co-equal branch of government.
Well, certainly we understand that the reckless behavior of this administration is now being evidenced not only in the nation but around the world. So this morning, the House Judiciary Committee will vote to issue a citation of contempt along with the report that details every manner of rejection of civility and ethics and as well accommodation that should be expected by Article 2 government or Article 2 executive level, which is the president. We are the Article 1 body and have every right constitutionally to investigate and to legislate. And so we have tried to accommodate the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, who has moved away from being the chief law enforcement officer, believes that the president can be above the rule of law and has defended him as opposed to trying to work with Congress for Congress to be able to do its job. We're simply not going to accept it.
What are the consequences of the citation of contempt?
Once that is voted on, then it goes to the floor of the House, and the Speaker will determine whether it is a civil citation or criminal. I would argue that at this point, because of the behavior, it needs to be a criminal citation. Obviously, there's more penalty against General Barr. It might be, in this instance, incarceration and fines. So all we can say is that if we say to the American people that you must adhere to the law, then certainly the president does. Every president who's been in the mix, Nixon tried to stop Congress and ultimately had to step down. President Clinton did what you normally do to defend yourself, but ultimately submitted himself to the special counsel for testimony. And the president never did submit to Director Mueller for oral testimony, though Mr. Mueller asked over and over again and only subjected himself to what we call written testimony, and most of it said, I couldn't recall.
Congresswoman,
yeah.
The audience, here's the issue, and I think with Tom just asked that. You have Speaker Pelosi, who has said not pursuing impeachment. A president is basically saying, the hell with Congress. You talk about this citation. At some point, there has to be clear, defined repercussions. Otherwise, This man has already shown he doesn't care about the rules. And so how far will Democrats go to hold him accountable? Otherwise, he will get even worse because he doesn't care.
Well, Roland, I don't even think it's just about President Trump. It's really about the institution and whether or not you allow President Trump to behave in this manner. And then it continues to give signals to presidents in the future. I think this is probably the first example of such a major constitutional crisis, even beyond Richard Nixon. So what we're doing is doing our job. We are investigating and determining the facts that may lead us toward impeachment, but we're not running toward impeachment. We're not afraid of impeachment, but we are going to do our work. And as you well know, we understand the American people want an infrastructure bill. We're going to do that. They want to make sure that we keep the Affordable Care Act, or at least access to health care and Medicare for all of the possibility. And they want to make sure that they're provided for with education, that we're safe, and that we're not being taken into war, as it may seem to be with the naval ship going into waters near Iran. So we know the job that we have to do. But what we have said is we're going to be deliberative. We're going to be diligent. We're going to do our work in a way that we will lay the building blocks if necessary. So this contempt is something with teeth in it as we vote for it. And the reason why I believe that is the case, because even in the last hours of last night, the Justice Department was asking us to stay the citation vote and continue to discuss with them. But their discussions seem to bear no fruit because they keep saying what they're not going to do as opposed to what they are going to do. We have given them basic requirements of giving the unredacted report so the American people can see it, giving us an opportunity to get the 6E, which is a grand jury, but let the court decide, and let us get the underlying documents and let us proceed with the hearing that Mr. Barr was supposed to come to. That's how we do our investigatory work. If they're not going to adhere to that, we will continue to issue subpoenas, but we will talk to those individuals who will be willing to talk, and we believe Director Mueller will be one of those at one point as he leaves the Justice Department to talk. And we would say to Mr. McGahn that for his own reputation, he's already spoken to the counsel, and he's already been waived what we call executive privilege. For his own integrity, we would suggest that he come before the House Judiciary Committee with certain parameters and begin to answer our questions. At that time, we will continue to pursue what should be right on behalf of the American people. And we will do what is right under the Constitution. I don't think the American people should have any fear, but they should know that we're also working for them every single day. I want to give one example about why we need to investigate. For example, if we found that the Department of Justice was constantly putting forward policies to insist upon mass incarceration, ignoring the laws that we passed, it would be the responsibility of the House Judiciary Committee and the Congress to investigate the Department of Justice and to stop them from ignoring the laws we passed to diminish and bring down mass incarceration, which obviously is impacting Black and brown communities across the nation. Investigatory authority of the Congress should never be thwarted because it is the only lifeline for the American people to know the truth, and the truth is for them. And so I think it is important that they know that we're not going to let up, and we are going to use our constitutional tools, but we see no reason to rush and to have this being, how should you say, put on us. But anyhow, go Rockets.
You said all that to say, go Rockets.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I had to stop and say, go Rockets.
That's right. Move over. I'm on your bandwagon.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Damn.
Congresswoman.
Words of Florida Evans. Damn.
No, thank you all.
No, thank you, Congresswoman.
Congresswoman Sheila
Keep up the
Jackson Lee,
great
thanks a
work.
lot.
Jackson Lee. I love you.
Love you too.